poprzednim odcinku.
Ja widzę, że to jest jak z polskiego horroru Last from Beyond. Impreza dla zboczeńców i zwyrodnialców, którzy nie wiedzą, co robić z pieniędzmi, tak? Moi drodzy, jesteśmy w bardzo długim, ale ostatnim odcinku Sherlock Holmes Chapter One. Mam nadzieję, że pamiętacie o kciuku w górę dla tej serii. Kończymy tę przygodę. Bierzemy się za zeznania i wszystkie dowody, które tu leżą. Na podstawie sprawozdania świadka satanistycznego rytuału, który rzekomo znalazł ciało na posiadłość rodu Mankios, zorganizowany został nalot policyjny. W rezultacie aresztowano kilku podejrzanych oraz rozproszono grupę ludzi w maskach i szatach, którzy oddawali się zachowaniom nieprzyzwoitym oraz nienaturalnym. Ciało ofiary znaleziono na ołtarzu z nożem wbitym w klatkę piersiową. Funkcjonariusze zidentyfikowali ofiarę. Fabio, 20 lat, miejscowy artysta i wykonawca, aresztowani podejrzani. Vogel miał przy sobie obraźliwy list, który został napisany przez ofiarę. Twierdzi on, że pierwszy znalazł ciało. Cieszy się on złosławą ze względu na swoją ekscentryczną osobowość. Sherlock Holmes miał przy sobie narzędzie zbrodni, sztylet, na którym była krew ofiary oraz inne elementy materiału dowodowego. Został zaproszony przez innego z gości, Vogla. Rzekomo po to, aby utrudniać oficjalne śledztwo. Mankios, właściciel posiadłości, odpowiedzialny za organizację satanistycznego przyjęcia, zapłacił ofierze za udział w rytuale. Miał dostęp do miejsca zbrodni. Matista. No dobra. A nie zatrzymali tego? Santosa? Ale dziwne. Bardzo dziwne.
Back on track to solve the case.
O, Santos Pinchetti jest tym świadkiem, który zgłasza podejrzenie morderstwa w posiadłości rodu Mankios z dzielnicy Serii. Podczas przygotowań do przyjęcia towarzyskiego usłyszałem hałasy dochodzące z zamkniętego pokoju za ołtarzem. Z ołtarzem, okej. Natychmiast pomyślałem o ofierze składanej z ludzi, na którą pieczę trzyma nikt inny jak Kurt Mankios. Na ścianach była krew, dziwne symbole, a w sercu sztylet. Jak tylko byłem w stanie jasno myśleć, pospieszyłem na komisariat, aby zameldować o tym, czego się dowiedziałem. Policja wysłała na miejsce patrol, a świadek opuścił komisariat i wrócił do domu. Mega. Osoba posiadająca bilet ma prawo przeglądać materiał dowodowy związany ze sprawą nr 6260 w magazynie dowodów. Okej. Dobra, to lecimy.
Look, I found Werner. Do you know anything about this?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
No dobra. Pałac pamięci. Pinchetti jest podejrzanym. Powinien zostać aresztowany, przesłuchany, miał klucz, o którym nie wspomniał w swoim zeznaniu. Ciekawe. Cię świetnie bawią.
This area is restricted.
No dobra. O. Dobre.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained bores. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
Nosi makijaż. Wysypka od farby do włosów. Mydło nie w pośpiechu. Ha. What else? Dracula. What else? Przesadnie drogie buty. Bogate życie towarzyskie jest w bardzo ostrożnych kwestiach. zdrowia, bo ukrywa swój wiek raczej. I przyzwoicie bogaty. Próbuje ukryć swój wiek.
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true labourers, I see. Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services. I've no idea about that.
Nie masz pojęcia o sobie. Ciekawe.
That's not something I know much about.
Nie wiem o sobie, okej.
That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. I've no idea about that.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police.
Trzeba ze wszystkim próbować.
You'd better ask someone else. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that.
Tu też
You'd
nic nie
better ask
dowiemy.
someone else.
Może to?
I've no idea about that.
Nie?
I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protégé and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
Okej. Wskazówki do Pałacu Pamięci. Czyżby Matista?
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
Tatuaż ma. Ma tatuaż ten sam co Fabio, prawda? A nie, to okultystyczny tatuaż. What? Denerwuje się. Samookaleczenie. Stare, ledwie widoczne blizny. What else? Niedawne zadrapania. Gorącym żelazem. Ojejku, Matista, artystka i partnerka Fabio. Bardzo trudne doświadczenia życiowe. Się mieć do własnego ciała pragmatyczne podejście po tylu latach tortur. Mistyko, jest album tatuaż okultystycznych symboli. Aha. Matista próbuje wyrwać się ze szponu swojej przyszłości, a życie artystki jest dla niego okazją zrobienia pieniędzy. Kurde bele. Ciekawe. Próbuje się wyrwać ze szponu swojej przyszłości. Tak mi się wydaje.
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
No dobra. Kto jeszcze? Tu nikogo nie ma. Tu też nikogo nie ma. Pokój dowodowy. O, to jest Werner.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
I can't follow you here. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
Ciekawe.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
Ciekawe. Potrzebuję biletu do pokoju z dowodami. Właśnie. Kiedy mam bilecik? Kiedy mam bilet?
Do you know anything about this?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Nie o to mi chodziło. Archiwum, o.
I've nothing to say about this. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer. I've nothing to say about this.
Wiecie, co najpierw zrobimy?
I'll visit you later.
Pan z pamięci. Matista twierdzi, że nie gnieje ciele na skutek interakcji z gośćmi. Rytuał higieny osobistej. Pan czas przygotował się na rozpustę. Dokładnie się przygotował na swoje przyjęcie. Nie. Ciekawe. Wszystko to trzeba połączyć. Jeszcze... Zobaczmy, czy na pewno wszystko, bo nigdy nie wiadomo. Wszystko, dobra. Okej. Boom.
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
Santos.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. He could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
You can question Mr. Pinchetti in the interrogation room.
Okej. Gdzie jest Pinchetti?
This area is restricted.
Pinchetti. Where are you, Pinchetti? O, tu jesteś.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Łuszczyca bądź też uczulenie. Upiór wielokrotnie naprawiany. Naprawiony więcej niż jeden raz. Ciekawe. Czy mógł zabić przez wzgląd na pieniądze? Wdepnął w krew. Okej. Ma problemy finansowe. Ciekawe. Myślę, że ma problemy finansowe.
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
Krew na bucie Pinchettiego. Santos prawdopodobnie wdepnął w krew przypadkiem, gdy odkrył, że pokój z ołtarzem to miejsce zbrodni. Oj, coś mi tu śmierdzi. Tu już nic nie połączę. Dobra. Ciekawe, czy mogę pogadać
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
o Pinchettim.
I know I can handle the news.
Dobra. Gdzie jest pokój dowodowy? O,
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
bilet.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner. It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring. An emergency kit for boredom.
To w ogóle. Lista został znaleziony w pudełku z materiałem dowodowym zebranym od Wogla. Czyś ty oszalał? Nie jestem w stanie trzymać pod kontrolą swojej goryczy. Nie w moim towarzystwie. To dla mnie zbyt wielkie ryzyko ignorować tego typu zachowanie. Mogę być, rozmawiać i bawić się z kimkolwiek, mam tylko na to ochotę. Nie jestem kolejną Matistą. Płacisz mi, ale mnie nie kupiłeś. Zaczynam sobie rzecz jasna wszystkie twoje szczodre dary, chociaż trudno stwierdzić, żeby wystarczyło jako rekompensata za twój ostatni okropny wybuch. Koniec z nami, chociaż Matista jeszcze się tu pokręci, Fabio.
Not the time for privacy. Werner's personal sketchbook.
Okej.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. Her key to the altar room. That's not for bedtime reading.
Nic nie ma chyba w tej książce. A jednak.
This ex libris belongs to Mancio's library.
O! Podczas aresztowania policja znalazła w tobie Matisty okultystyczną książkę. Ex Libris wskazuje na to, że tom ten pochodzi z kolekcji Manciosa. Zawiera ona ilustracje oraz spisy rytuału podobnego do tego miejsca zbrodni. Przykutunego ciało niedawno zmarłego obiektu zainteresowań. Nareszcie symbole Marsa oraz Wenus, aby zwiększyć moc, którą posiadasz, by użyć siły natury męskiej i żeńskiej. Przybij jego serce złotym sztyletem, aby pozbyć się tej części krwi, której nie ma miłości do ciebie. Nareszcie symbol znaczący twoją miłość. Czeka na wskrzeszenie, wyrecytuj zaklęcie. Oh shit! Czy ona to zrobiła z miłości?
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room. Thank you, officer.
To było niezły crash. Moi drodzy, kolejny crash. Cudownie po prostu. Natomiast ciekawostka, jeżeli chodzi o teczkę. Zapytaliśmy o książkę Matisty i generalnie tak, Kurt uznał, że ona ją ukradła, a sama Matista powiedziała o tym, że nie używała magii widocznej tam, jeżeli chodzi o sztylet i tak dalej, tylko białej. I jestem w stanie jej uwierzyć. Wydaje mi się, że Kurt... Zaraz się dowiemy. Jeszcze jedna rzecz, wiecie? Jeszcze jedna rzecz. Pogadajmy ze wszystkimi, z kim mogę.
I know I can handle the news.
Wiem, co możemy zrobić. Możemy pogadać z tobą. Rzeczy. Testament oraz liści Kurta Manciosa. Santos, mój pełen nadziei ślimaku. Błagałem się, aby dopisał się do testamentu, to najnowsza wersja. Santos otrzyma słój pomady do wąsów. O kurde.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Okej. Co mi powiesz o testamencie?
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a majordomo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your majordomo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Okej. Wiecie, co mi się wydaje? Liścik w ogóle, ten, który miał... ten, którym jest napisane... Gdzie ten list jest? Pisemne zeznanie. Nie. List. Czyś ty oszalał? Bawić się z kimkolwiek, mam na to ochotę. Nie jestem kolejną Matistą. No właśnie, płacisz mi, ale mnie nie kupiłeś. Wydaje mi się, że koniec z nami. Chodzi mi... Oczywiste jest to, że Kurt Manchios zabił go, bo uznał, że rytuał miłości może zadziałać. Serio. Tak mi się wydaje. To jest... ja na to stawiam. Definitywnie tak. Dobra. Według tego, co powiedział Pinchetti, oraz treści można wnioskować, że jego adresatem był Kurt Manchios. No właśnie. I teraz tak. Dedukcje. Manchios przygotował... umówił się po zabiciu Fabio. Pinchetti wdepnął w krew. Przypadkiem. Rytuał był jedynie przykrywką. Artysta została poświadczona przez gości. No. Dobra. Teraz idziemy do porucznika chyba. Zapiszmy sobie grę i lecimy.
This letter proves nothing. Fabio wrote it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr. Vogel.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need proof, not words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who else was showering Fabio with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit Mr. Vogel's character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
No, ale chciałbym Kurtę już oskarżyć. Czemu nie mogę? Czy musimy z nimi pogadać jeszcze?
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
Please let me out.
Zanim pójdziemy do Vogla, chcę się upewnić, że wszystko tu wyczerpałem.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchos?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchos could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchos. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchos.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchos?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Fabio złamał serce Kurta Manchiosa. To już jest w ogóle pogadajmy.
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchos.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
touché.
Okej. Pałac pamięci. Wydaje mi się, że Manchios podsunął Voglowi liścik. Wiedział, że był naćpany. Był zaspaczony w stanie paniki, nie chciał zabić Fabio. Pozorował rytuał, próbując desperacko ukryć zbrodnię. Raczej nie. Rytuał, aby wrobić Matistę. Podsunąć ci Voglowi uniknąć podejrzeń. Manchios nie przyjmuje się życiem innych, zasługuje na to być powieszonym. Czy zbrodnia w afekcie? Myślę, że zaspaczony i w stanie paniki był. Tak mi się wydaje. No. Dobra. To oskarżamy gościa. Możemy go oskarżyć. Jeszcze możemy z nim pogadać? Tak jest. O kurde.
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you plan. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes, or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
Of course, a staged murder was certainly not planned. You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful, and Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s,
Early 60s.
who hosts the cream of Cordona's society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
Fabio played with your feelings. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way that you would have liked. You wanted to be loved, but Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You were passionate, and so you struck him. Once you understood your mistake, it was too late. You were afraid, so you staged the ritual. With such a story, you might be sentenced to a few years. It might clean your conscience, and soon the case will be forgotten.
No. No.
This is my decision. I'll talk to Constable Oswald to see what I can do.
Ciekawe, czy mam rację. Myślę, że mam. Chociaż zbrodnia w afekcie z premedytacją. Może rzeczywiście z premedytacją, ale jedno wychodzi.
There's no fool like an old fool. Kurt Manchios did it. A young boy played with the heart of an old man. The latter couldn't handle it. The evidence I obtained clearly shows that the quarrel was not intended to end badly. It was an accident.
Showing pity towards your own kind, Holmes. Whatever.
All I'm saying is that prison won't take much away from an old and crushed man.
Fine. A big name like that will still give me a promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
Na biurku są. Gdzie na biurku? Na stole w policyjnych archiwach. Sprawozdanie numer 0743. Funkcjonariusze przybyli na miejsce i znaleźli natkę, którą zidentyfikowano jako panią Violet Holmes, leżącą w ogrodzie Stonewood Manor. Oględziny wykazały, że ofiara była kompletnie przemoczona, na jej gardle widniało głębokie pionowe nacięcie, około 5 cm długości. Jej twarz była spuchnięta i pokryta czerwonymi wybroczynami. Prawdopodobna przyczyna śmierci niedotlenienie. Obecnie oczekujemy na potwierdzenie od koronera. Główny podejrzany Otto Richter został aresztowany na miejscu zdarzenia, zwłoki zostały poddane autopsji. O kurde.
Garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's...
Oh, you did it, Sherlock! The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo!
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decisions?
It was the best decision I could obtain. The truth must be told in the way it is most acceptable.
You're making progress, Sherlock. I was right to believe in you. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity, and it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
Oh, yes. It's a struggle, but yes, we can make our own decisions. That's what I fight for.
And what an endless fight it is. Will you ever give yourself a break, Sherlock? You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
Czy mam wrażenie, że ktoś też powiedział, że to może być Moriarty, tak naprawdę, ale nie, raczej nie. To do posiadłości Holmesów, moi drodzy. Jedna jest droga, fruńmy nią. Do biegu gotowi start.
Sherry, please listen to me. Sherry.
John, I always listen to you.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to go through. I don't know what is beyond this door, but I can feel it. Buzzing, angry, like a fly at the window.
I know. I can sense it too.
You locked away this memory for a reason. There is only pain here.
Pain. And truth.
You do not need to suffer either. There is so much more we can do on Cordona, so many others we can help. There is no coming back from this.
John, my animum, my brother, there is nothing more important in this moment than this truth. I know you fear for me, but my path was set long ago. I can no more step off it than I can ask the avalanche to roll back uphill.
Just... please be careful, Sherry. I love you.
Quite. Come on. We'll go together.
Przegrałem zakład z Johnem. Tego się nie spodziewałem.
Why didn't I remember we had such a big garden?
Maybe you forgot it for your own good. That's the descendant of a tree your father planted in London, correct?
Indeed, we planted the sprout here, and for a while it grew happily. Alas, it seems without us here to care for it, it didn't survive. Ah, yes. The statue of Merope. My mother was trying to restore it. Pity she never had the opportunity to finish.
Tu nic nie ma. Ojejku.
That's from Mother's favorite tea set. What is it doing in here?
O kurde. W horrorze.
Come here, Sherry. Hurry! These must help calm her down.
What are you thinking about? Is everything all right?
Przynieś matce herbatę. Tonęła? Nie wiem. Podejrzany psychiatra. Ryzyko efektów ubocznych?
Don't go, Mother, wait! I remember this artifact from Mother's collection. Mother's work journal. I liked poring over the detailed pages and reading about my parents' collection.
Here it is. We'll just borrow it for a while.
Did you hear that? Someone's coming. Let's take a peek. You call this progress? Charlotte, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
Any result is progress, even if it is a worsening of her condition. It informs my...
No. I have made my decision. She must be sent to a legitimate medical facility. I will not let her hurt Sherlock.
What? Master Holmes, you do not understand.
That will be all. I expect you to have left the house by week's end.
Sherry, say something. Can you hear me? You're scaring me.
Sherlock, I'm here. Come closer.
Bardzo dziwnie małe FPS z tej lokacji.
I'm waiting for you.
Coming, Mother! This was for my mother, wasn't it? I remember how we came to the garden for a breath of fresh air.
Take me to my flowers, Sherry. They must already be in bloom.
As you wish, Mum. I bet you missed the fresh air, didn't you?
Terribly. The sun is far brighter than I remember. But I like it.
We can walk each day from now on, if you want.
That would be wonderful. Just look at them. The stars of the earth. Even the sky must be jealous of their beauty.
Indeed. Mother, would you like to go around the water?
That would be perfect. I always wanted such a nice pond in London. It looks so peaceful.
Mycroft knew you would like it.
We should put some fish in it, don't you think?
How about some carp?
That's a nice idea.
Będzie na Wigilię. Jak znalazł.
Let's visit your father's tree. It grows so fast, just like you.
We could even build a tree house in it.
Yes, Sherry. Speaking of your father, could you call him out, please?
Mom! I'm sorry. He passed away. He's gone.
No, he's not.
I'm telling the truth. Did you forget again?
No! Don't you dare say such things! You are a liar like all the others!
Mother!
Don't call me that! You aren't fooling me!
No! Mum, it hurts!
My son would never lie!
Mum, stop!
Who are you? Reveal yourself!
Please, stop! It's me, Sherlock!
You are not my Sherry! Give me my son, I can't tell you!
Czyżby się zabiła? Nie zdała sobie sprawy, że zabiła syna może. W sensie, że prawie zabiła syna. O kurde. Matka próbowała mnie zabić. Nie utonęła. Została utopiona. Oto zabił moją matkę, było mnie ratować. Utonięcie było nieszczęśliwym wypadkiem. A oto było przyprowadzić do niej trochę, to miał uratować moją matkę. Możliwe. Bardzo możliwe. Wydaje mi się, że tak. To ma sens.
Sherlock. Sherlock. Can you hear me? Come on, wake up.
Get off me.
Sherry,
You knew, and more than that, you hid it from me.
you couldn't bear the truth, Sherlock, so I shouldered it for you. I took your pain, your horror.
Otto Richter murdered my mother, and Mycroft covered it up. Whisked me away from this place, buried me in schoolwork, and left the past to rot.
And you needed a way to cope, so I helped.
You were a lie, John, a fiction, a crutch.
No, I was a friend. Sherlock, please.
Sherlock,
What?
are you okay?
I don't know.
I told you not to come, Sherlock. Where is he?
Who?
Your friend, John.
He's beside you.
Was all this worth it? Is he worth it?
Why is he here?
I think, in his own way, he was trying to protect me. A truth I couldn't bear. But now I must face it.
Sherlock, what are you doing?
You kept me in the dark and kept your actions quiet. You enabled Richter and his untested quackery for far too long. And worse, you wanted to lock up our mother.
I wanted to give you a chance at normalcy, childhood. There was no changing what happened, no good to come of dwelling in the past.
It was lies upon lies. Otto Richter was trying to save her, but you decided he deserved to take the fall. Is that justice?
The big picture, Sherlock. The big picture. Perhaps Richter was not responsible for her fit of rage, but his treatment led inexorably to that moment. You were so fragile. I could not... I just couldn't. I chose us over him.
You know, for once I believe you. Perhaps now that the truth is out, I can actually do what you had hoped. Leave it all in the past.
Good. You have your whole life ahead of you, Sherlock. It is time you got on with it.
I was worried there for a minute, Sherry. Really worried. I didn't want to hurt you. What's so funny?
I am talking to myself, John. I think I was hurt regardless.
But we made a good team, eh? Explored every inch of this place together. Helped a lot of people. Terrorized a few too, I suppose. I think I may go so far as to say, Sherry, that I have not lived wholly in vain.
So that's it. It's over.
You've opened every door, Sherry. Faced the past you locked away. You don't need me anymore.
I know. I will miss you all the same. I don't want you to go.
Yes, you do.
Goodbye, John.
Spokojnie poznasz Johna Watsona. Będziecie duetem jak Scooby-Doo i Kudłaty. W sensie, wśród nich nie było mądrzejszego, obaj byli puści jak cholera, nie? Rozdział, który trzeba zamknąć.
Why are you here?
Closure, I suppose. And to help a friend.
You and I are not friends. In a race between the thawing of the ice caps and our friendship, I would buy a boat.
Ha! Is that right?
I can see it now. I know what you did.
What did I do?
You needled me. From the moment we met, you were searching for weakness. You pushed me to pursue the truth about my mother. You questioned everything I did, everything I believed, to break me. To blur truth and fiction, reality, morality. A saboteur in silk. Was it vengeance, Vernon? Or do you prefer Klaus?
Excuse me?
You are Klaus Richter, Otto's younger brother. Do you hold me responsible for his end?
Ha! There was no love lost between me and my brother. I am sure you can relate. Otto was merely the gravity that pulled me into your orbit. Or you into mine. Once I'd met you, I could not keep away.
Why? What reason do you have for all this?
To help you.
You're lying.
To show you that you were wrong.
More lies. I know you now, Werner. Try again.
To see what had happened. Or is that yet another untruth? Doesn't matter. Take your pick. Who cares? You're my masterpiece. I turned Sisyphus into Ozymandias. You could not see the futility of your quest until I helped you to let go of the rock. And now, nothing beside remains.
I remain. Despite you and to spite you.
It is a matter of will and power now. Will you overcome this, or shall you decay? Oh, on that note, I brought you something.
I want nothing more from you.
When one wants for nothing, Sherlock, the best thing to get them is something personal. So, here you are. Now, please excuse me, but the gallery calls. I'm already conceiving my next project.
A to jest L z Death Note'a. O mój Boże.
You really are beautiful.
Czy to jest odniesienie, którego nie rozumiem? Zdradźcie mi w komentarzach, bo w poprzedniej części Sherlocka nie grałem.
My brother returned to London soon after our disagreement. He enrolled at Cambridge University, but attends only the rare classes that hold his interest. I hear he took employment at a hospital laboratory, obsessing over his experiments. I suppose he seeks solace in the empirical truth of a chemical test. I am afraid for him. His evenings are spent alone, solving citizens' menial mysteries to pass the time. And I suspect he is growing paranoid. One of my agent's vehicles recently ignited during a surveillance operation. She was lucky to get out alive. There is only one man who could orchestrate such a feat. Or perhaps two. I saved my brother. He will never forgive me.
Okej. John Watson. Ta scena jest serialna na początku.
I found it! I found it! I found it!
And what is that?
how far, bruises may be produced after death. How are you? You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive.
How on earth did you know that?
Never mind. The question now is about bruising. No doubt you see the significance of this discovery of mine.
It is interesting, no doubt, but practically...
Why, it is the most practical medico-legal discovery for years. Had we these data sooner, hundreds of men would have paid the penalty for their crimes. Cases oft hinge upon how a man died. Now, we can know which wounds he suffered alive, which occurred post-mortem, and what instrument was responsible. And ergo, one will soon be able to calculate with utmost precision when and where death occurred, sparing the innocent and damning the guilty.
Well, then you are to be congratulated.
Indeed. But, you came here on business.
Correct again. I am looking for someone with whom to take diggings, and heard you were complaining that you could get no one to go halves with you.
I have my eye on a suite in Baker Street, which would suit us down to the ground. You don't mind the smell of strong tobacco, I hope?
I smoke ships myself.
That's good enough. I get in the dumps at times, and don't open my mouth for days on end. Just let me alone, and I'll soon be right. What have you to confess now? It's best for two fellows to know what bruises each other carries before they begin to live together. My last companion and I...
Well, I object to rows because my nerves are shaken. And I get up at all sorts of ungodly hours. And I am extremely lazy. I have another set of vices when I'm well. But those are the principal ones at present.
Do you include violin playing in your category for rout?
It depends on the player. A well-played violin is a treat for the gods. A badly played one...
Oh, no, that's all right. I think we may consider the thing as settled. Oh, forgive my manners. My attention wavers. Sherlock Holmes.
Dr. John Watson.
John.
Czyż nie fajnie? Czyż nie fajnie. Moi drodzy, ukończyliśmy Sherlocka Holmesa. Mam nadzieję, że seria wam się podoba. Gierka była naprawdę fajna. Serio. Technicznie tragedia, ale gierka była naprawdę fajna fabularnie. Mam nadzieję, że bawiliście się dobrze. Jeżeli tak, pamiętajcie proszę o kciuku w górę. Będę bardzo wdzięczny. Tymczasem ode mnie w tym odcinku to tyle. Mam nadzieję, że się wam podobało. Pamiętajcie, że moje odcinki powstały dzięki wsparciu patronów z Patronite'a, do którego link znajdziecie na ekranie i poniżej. Ponadto pamiętajcie o kciuku w górę i tym, że odcinki na kanale pojawiają się codziennie o 16 i 19. Śledźcie Facebooka i Instagrama, żeby być na bieżąco, oraz Twitcha, jeżeli chcecie oglądać mnie na żywo prawie codziennie. Tymczasem trzymajcie je ciepło i do miłego usłyszenia.